All right, today we are starting with a deck that is a stock archetype in the format right now, but I don't think as a community the community's really landed on an optimal variation of this archetype. Hey Sato, thank you for the 7 months. Really appreciate it. Welcome to a live one. So Twisted Fate is one of the namesakes of our deck here. 2/2 for 4. Quick attack. When you play him, you play a Destiny card, so you get some value when he comes into play. Either draws you a card, deals 1 damage to everything, or stuns something and damages it. He levels up when he's seen you draw 8+ cards. And then his leveled mode here says, each round, the first 3 times you would play a card, play a Destiny card. So he plays blue card, red card, gold card in order when leveled as you play other stuff. So Twisted Fate basically encourages you to have lots of ways to draw through your deck. And then something Twisted Fate decks had often struggled with in the past was, what are you doing when you have all these things that draw cards, but you don't have Twisted Fate? And in the KDA card drop, we actually kind of got an answer to that with Go Hard. So Go Hard here says drain 1 from a unit and then shuffle 2 copies of me into your deck. Once you've cast me 3 times, transform all copies of me into Pack Your Bags, and then Pack Your Bags is just an incredible blowout. Deal 5 damage to your opponent's board as well as their Nexus, and then turn everything else back into Go Hard. So basically what we're looking to do here is we're playing a bunch of cards that draw cards, so we can either level Twisted Fate or cycle into Pack Your Bags after we've played a number of Go Hards. The other champion we're playing in this deck is Elise, just because she's a good unit. So Elise is very good at pressuring control decks, as well as giving us the ability to block against aggro, because she generates these extra spiderling bodies, which help you have board presence, which is nice. Elise and a lot of our other dorky units allow us to play Glimpse as a source of card draw. You need consistent sources of cheap bodies to throw away for this card to be extra valuable. And then just kind of other good aggressive cards. We've got like Jagged Butcher, Pool Shark, Deckhand, Petty Officer. Notably, the powder kegs from things like Petty Officer and Deckhand can be very good with Go Hard. Towards the top end of our curve, we've got some card advantage like Zap, which is very good at drawing us Go Hard. We've got Salvage to draw extra cards. We've got some interaction and Vengeance, Ruination, and Grasp. So let's go ahead and dive into some games with this and see how it goes. We've played against this archetype on the ladder a few times, but we've not played with it yet on stream. Interested to see how it feels today. Draven Ezreal. I'm going to mulligan the Pool Shark for now. I think I'm going to keep the rest of these. Jagged Butcher into Elise sounds fine. Backup Elise. The opponent's archetype likely has a lot of spot removal in it, so having a redundant one for when she dies is fine. We want to just get on the board and apply pressure here. Oh, the new timers are in game already, it looks like. So they teased... They teased some kind of, or they talked about having some kind of time bank that now stores up time for you as you take quick turns early on, so you can have extra time for more complicated turns later on. Yeah, and sweet. And this is exactly why we kept the second Elise here. This is a new Guardian. It's one I haven't used before. I ended up buying the Dragon Pack of cosmetics.
Nothing to fear.
It's the first time I've used it on stream. It's new to us. So I think we go ahead and attack here, because it gets through 3 points of damage on these Dorkos, and then this will bump into this if they want, and then Twisted Fate can kill this with a red or gold card next turn, which is nice. So basically treating that there.
Watch and learn.
Pretty smart open attacks. I bet they assume we're going to have something like this, but that's fine. Definitely just playing this out and killing their stuff. They are notably Ezreal Draven and not Jinx Draven, so their archetype's a little bit more mid-rangey / controlling, as opposed to what the discard aggro deck looks like. And that's fine. So, you know, they traded here, but this is killing this, so it's a pretty reasonable exchange for us overall, I think. We've backup Twisted here in hand. This is a matchup where I think we're pretty unlikely to level Twisted Fate most of the time. Just because our opponent has a lot of interaction in their deck. ahead and start by attacking here. If they want to eat this here, I'd have a go hard to finish it, which would be nice. Could maybe also be right to like play this for a powder keg and then go hard the 2-2. I'm gonna be honest, Jesse, when I saw Swim was mostly just talking about playing not Runeterra, I turned the stream off. So, I was in Swim's chats briefly, but when he wasn't playing Runeterra, I ended up going and doing something else.
I'm always up for a round or two. Blue as the Serpentine.
Is he unhappy with the current state of Runeterra for some reason?
The world's a big place. Let's see all of it.
I don't know, especially evaluating like a one-of like that, San, the number of games that you have to log in order to have like an accurate feeling of that is just like pretty incredible.
One shot, all skill.
I could technically hit our one of Grasp here, right? And kill this before it hits me. Rats.
I whipped up something special.
We're gonna make a couple of kegs and go hard this.
Charge! Be nothing left when I'm done.
Yeah, that's fair. It's always interesting to see who sticks with games longer term, right? Because Runeterra is definitely getting to that point now where, like, you know, it's a little bit more established. So yeah, this is a little unfortunate. So you'll see who's gonna maybe stick around for the longer term and who's gonna move on to the next thing. We saw that with Magic Arena 2 when that first released as a game, right? Like there were people that were there for the start and decided to move on to the next hot thing when it happened. All I can say is, like, I can't speak to other people, but I know that I personally really enjoy Runeterra still, you know, 5 months, and I've been playing for less time than them, but I also, in my personal feelings, the current format is...
I have the best job.
The current format is the most fun I've had playing Runeterra since I started in that 6 months.
Go with the flow.
Yeah, so 100% of my Horizon Zero Dawn playthrough on PC, Iceboy, has been done with my Switch Pro controller. The literal only thing that doesn't work with my... No, Horizon Zero Dawn is on PC now. It released on PC on Steam a few months ago. That's what I've been playing it on. I have a PS5 now, though, so when the sequel comes out, I'll be able to play it there, but the original with the DLC is on the PC. My whole playthrough is a PC playthrough. What was I going to say? The only thing that doesn't work with Horizon Zero Dawn on my controller is there's no button on my controller that's mapped to pulling up the main menu in Horizon Zero Dawn. Which is kind of funny. So I have to press the K button on my keyboard whenever I want to pull the controller up. I'm inclined to agree with that, Quaddle. I think the current format is really high up there for me overall. It's a decent pickup. We have Go Hard to kill this. The next one will be a Pack Your Bags. So feeling like we're in a pretty decent spot overall here. I probably want to wait on this because they could have an Ezreal, and I'd much rather kill an Ezreal than this, although their Ezreal is leveled now, right? It's a little awk. And remember, this hits their face as well. So, part of it too, Jesse, and like this is so... It's been interesting watching how people react to Runeterra, and I've talked about this before, but seeing how the player base has reacted to Runeterra actually makes me really empathetic to game devs, because like, the people that complain about, like, the existing state of Runeterra, I feel like really shows that players will always find something to complain about. So it's really hard to, like, as a game dev, I'm sure it's, like, close to impossible to, like, manage the signal-to-noise ratio that those folks experience constantly. Because, like, for example, I think the thing that I actually really like about Runeterra in general is that when new card sets get released, they add new decks to the format, like 1.5 new decks. They supplement some of the existing decks, but the new card sets explicitly do not flip Runeterra's format on its head entirely. Which, that's something that Magic, I didn't play through too many rotations in Hearthstone, so I don't know if it's a Hearthstone thing too, but I know in Magic, that's something that happened quite consistently, was that a new standard set would drop and the whole format would get flipped on its head and it would be new, and like, and that's exciting in a way, right? Like, the whole format basically being brand new when a new set drops is something that a lot of people really like. But while I like exploring new things from a player perspective, I also just really like knowing that, like, I can have old favorites that I can go back to. That's why formats like, what's it called? Formats like Modern and Legacy in Magic, Magic's non-rotating formats, have always been so successful and popular among players, is because players knew that, like, okay, I love this deck, and I'm always going to be able to play this deck. This is the deck that I love, and it's gonna be here, you know, a year or two from now, and I'm gonna get to play it then still. Hopefully they're dead to open attacks here. Yeah, and like another thing too that we see in Runeterra 2 is that, like, and I think this is something that's gonna be interesting to see as the game develops more, is that I think we see players overreact to nerfs in Runeterra a lot of the time. And I think the most recent example of this I would give is the Ash Shijani deck. When Ash Shijani got nerfed, it basically dropped to almost no play after it was, like, the best deck when it got nerfed. And now we very slowly have seen that archetype come back and be played more. Can we just beat a Captain Pharaon? Please be dead. They can kill these two. But even then, we might still beat the Pharaon, right? I do think, like some of what I just said is definitely subjective, though. Like, if you're more interested in things that get fully flipped on their head constantly, that's not your ideal. I said thanks to Pinky, by the way. I don't remember if I said thanks to Pinky and Sato. Thanks for the resubs, folks, if I didn't. Yeah, and it's, like, still super competitive, right, Beck? So, like, people that like it, and, like, that's the key, and why I love how they approach balancing this game, is that, like, if a deck is too good, they don't kill it with nerfs and adjustments. They make it on par with everything else. And then people who love that deck and love the play patterns can still enjoy it, but people who don't love it don't feel obligated to play something that they don't love. Yeah, I completely agree, Niv. As someone who spent a ton of time playing Modern in Magic, like, it's unrecognizable now after the fire design. It's very sad. Evening's Optic. When and how did it get nerfed? Fury of the North used to give +4/+4, and Trifarian Assessor cost 4 mana. That archetype used to play actual copies of Fury of the North because it was better. So opponent is playing Draven Darius here. This is actually the aggro deck. This is the Overwhelm aggro deck that we're going to play as our second deck today. This evening. The opponent's archetype is very reasonable and sweet. Nice draw. You love to see it. Show me a goat.
My faith protects me.
Shield bearer. Boo. Agreed. That's fine. We can trade this here next turn if they don't attack in. Gold card can kill this later. Yeah, that is just super accurate, Violet Journey. Runeterra does a stellar job of encouraging you to play decks you like, as opposed to feeling obligated to play decks because they're the best decks. Alright, so I think we... I'll block here and then we'll red card this.
Deal me in. Something for all of you.
So... am I willing to trade this for this? I think so.
Lady Luck is smiling.
It could be wrong to attack with this because their archetype plays, what's it called? It plays, it plays Whirling Death usually. Pale Cascade is also not good for it. Whirling Death is one on my mind, but yeah, you're right. They do play Pale Cascade too.
Oh, heretic.
With Salvage and Zap, and this pick a card even, we might be in a position to level Twisted Fate this game, depending on what the opponent does here. Let's do this to start, see what we get. Huh? Okay, I think I need a blocker this turn. That's, it would be funny if it wasn't so sad. It would be funny if it wasn't so sad. Am I just taking 11 here? 12? Am I taking 12? Can I take 12? That greedy? That might be greedy.
Gotta go with the flow.
So really hoping to draw some fast and burst speed cards next turn, so when they open combat we can try and not die. That's the danger. We're like going all in on this Twisted Fate level up. And they're gonna open attacks and be real scary.
I guess you can win them all.
Scorching light.
You're bluffing.
Why are you here?
Okay, so...
You can't do this.
if I do this... And then... I do this.
Easy.
We end up at 4. And we're super dead to the stun card again here. Yeah, I unfortunately don't have another... So, like, this deck is not nearly as good of a Twisted Fate deck as our what's it called deck was? Our Diana Twisted Fate deck. Because the Diana Twisted Fate deck has a bunch of fast and burst speed cards here. So, like, if I could gold card and stun this out of combat, we'd be in an incredible spot. But we can't do that, and we're dead now. So, yep. So, probably took... I think I took the wrong role here, just not being familiar enough with what this deck is able to do with Twisted Fate. Like, if this had been the other Twisted Fate deck, I think we easily win here. But this deck's just not good enough at using leveled Twisted Fate inside of combat that I should have traded my Twisted Fate earlier instead of trying to level him up and played to the controlling the board more. So that was a misassessment on my part with how Twisted Fate was going to play out. So that really, like, shows, I think, some of the great depth that Runeterra has in its different decks. That, like, the way this deck plays out with a leveled champion is very different than a way another deck plays out with that same champion leveled up. So that the play patterns are unique deck to deck, even with just the same champion, which is really awesome to see. Mulligan the deck hand, keep 1-2 here. Yasuo, Leona. Yes, thanks to trickle-down Shillonomics, each Shillionaire makes future Shillionaires easier to achieve. So our 7 existing Shillionaires have made it cost 7 shillings less. Sometimes real life happens. Enjoy the trickle. Great. Kench Soraka, eh? This is definitely a matchup where a couple of Vengeances and Ruinations are likely going to come in handy. I feel like I'm always into keeping Twisted Fate, and I want to mulligan the rest of those for cheaper curve cards.
Nothing like the stink of blood and sweat.
Oh, you're all so cute.
Isn't my understanding is that patch day WoW is always just crossing your fingers and hoping you can get in? I say that as someone who's never played World of Warcraft though before, so feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. It's like typical, like, release day load is pretty far from average day load, so they don't build the infrastructure to scale up that much. It's just not profitable to do so. I think Go Ezreal is probably the more competitive deck between Go Ezreal and Twisted Diana. That's true, San. The millionth, once we achieve our millionth Shillionaire, everybody will be able to be a Shillionaire.
Didn't know the boss is sent for ye.
Don't know much, do ya?
Red card could be real good next turn. He says, hoping they don't open on attacks. So, Powder Keg here makes red card deal 2 to everything, which is nice. We could see them open here and blow the keg up to play around that, though. Yeah, opponent playing this really well, playing around Twisted Fate. And I think with that in mind, I'm actually just going to play... no, I'm a liar. I'm going to play this and get another keg.
Don't know much, do ya?
I've been propagating quite the appetite.
I see feast in your future.
Let us peruse this establishment's fare.
Yeah, it looks like the timer change went live already, Narkman. I think their release timeline is off/different this week in large part due to it being a holiday in the United States.
No, sir, friend.
Doesn't everyone being a shillionaire kill the entire way your deck queue works? Yeah, but
The stars.
if we have 1 million people, like, just by the logistics of that many people cashing things in, like, if I achieve that many people on my channel having watched at some point to care enough to cash in shillionaire, I will be well enough off that the deck queue might not be a thing anymore. I mean, not bigger than Ninja, but we'd be much larger than the fish we are now. Yeah, I think we gold card now, exactly.
Lost a fair game, or played one.
Like, for comparison's sake, I currently have, like, 68,000 some odd followers. So, it's, what, to get to 1 million, that's a, what, 900% increase in followers? To a 200, to 1,800% increase? To be fair, HR Beck, the millionth person wouldn't have to watch for as long, right? That was the point they were asking, if Shillionaire was free. But, like, even just to make the point, like, if we had 500,000 Shillionaires, for example, that would still be an incredible number. Might be pick-a-carding this turn. We'll see. Was wrong to aggressively level him last time, but might be correct this time through.
I'm not afraid. Just a wee bit late.
Yes, 500. If we had 500,000 Shillionaires, we would be at a point where I don't really need subscribers anymore and I could live off of ad revenue. This matchup is hard for our side. Is it? I mean, I've, like, killed the Kench so far. I don't know, it doesn't feel super hard so far. I feel like I'm in an okay spot to be aggressive here. Oh, really? And we're killing that. Okay. So he's seen 2. What if I do both of these here? Is that crazy? So this is 1 card, 3 cards, 5 cards. If I hit any card draw next turn, I can... If I hit any card draw next turn, I can do this. Of course, I'm not going to have much mana, so, like, drawing that many fleeting cards probably means I'm going to have a hard time. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna go hard this, and then I'm going to pick a card this back into my deck and just draw 3 fleetings. I think 4 fleetings I'll probably spew too much value.
A win streak.
I feel better when you feel better.
Okay, sick. Yeah, and this works out, right? Because there's a salvage, so this level's Twisted Fate.
I guess you can win them all.
You bang. I got the spirits.
You dare.
Blue as the serpent.
She's so mad that we killed her spider, chat.
Everyone here? Let's go.
Alright, let's pack this one up, chat. We're We're going hard. We're going home. Put your stuff in a box and throw it away. Oh, that ship has sailed, honey. Let's pull Shark first, see if we get them to play another card out.
Oh, folks.
Bye, friends.
That wasn't so bad now, was it?
This aggressive build's kind of sweet. Weiheimer. So this is a control deck, usually. I'm gonna mulligan these, looking for Twisted Fate and 1-drops, I think. Keep Elise for sure here. Sure. Yeah, I think our archetype is very reasonable. What's it? Pretty sure this one is on the meta stats. It's got a pretty good sample size. I think Twisted Fate. Yeah, this has this archetype has almost 9,000 matches played, and it has a 54.5 win rate in that 9,000, almost 9,000 match sample size.
I pull the strings.
Hey, back, thanks for the biddies, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll get that deck bumped up when I'm done tonight. Thanks for the support.
Get her out from the darkness.
I think Elise on 2 is probably just one of our best plays, one of our best openers against control decks. Applies a good deal of pressure in one card. So these Chronicler of Runes are interesting in this deck. I think they're largely here to re-trigger Zap to redraw Gohard. Someone else had mentioned they play Vile Feast in this archetype earlier, and I think a big part of why this deck's not playing Vile Feast is so that way it can play things like it can get back to Gohard more consistently.
Water.
Protect the stars.
So we'll go block, block, and then these Gohards clean up. Wow, really surprised there's no Pale Kiss there. Was kind of expecting that. Guiding Touch, sure. Hit this with another one, and then this is pretty likely to draw another Gohard next turn to kill this before we attack.
Keep up, keep up.
Keep up, keep up.
I've got you.
Yeah, so I actually have, if you look at the deck queue, there is a second variation of this archetype in the queue that has some key differences in it. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing how that build feels in practice when we get to it. I don't think we're gonna get to it tomorrow, but probably Wednesday or Thursday we'll get to it. So I definitely like I said, this is my first time playing this archetype on stream. We played against different variations of it a few times, but I definitely don't have any certainty what version is optimal, so definitely don't mind trying a couple variations. And remember, we're at a spot where our next Gohard is telling them to pack their bags, so this Chronicler is going to get to blink this, or we just play that one now.
Crew. Gotta go with the flow.
Ah, Glimpse.
Justice firsthand.
Why, Glimpse? Why?
What's that you got there?
This is why there's only 2 copies of Glimpse in our deck. I don't know, Claire. I don't have experience with what data they're outputting. Alright, there's one glimpse left in our deck. God bless America, my country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of the I sing. Do 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 do. There are 5. There are 5 or 6. Whatever. There are a lot of pack your bags in our deck right now, chat. This is it. Hit me, dealer. Damn it. Never lucky, chat. Never lucky. Ugh. And we got hushed into level Vi here as well. Oh. That's brutal. Yeah, I was greedy and wanted to I don't even know that that's a misplay. I think I disagree with your assessment that was wrong. I think the upside of drawing into the kill your board there and kill you on the spot there is definitely worth the potential downside of them having, like, we had to both miss and they had to have a hush there, which is like a lot has to go wrong. So I'm pretty happy with my play. Just because your play doesn't get the optimal outcome that you were looking for doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong. Yeah, the vengeance helps keep us alive a little bit here, which is nice. I'm being spell mana for now.
What seems to be the problem?
That's true. I did misplay not shot calling this app. We hit the like 1 in, we hit the like 2 in 8 and then like the 1 in 7. Yeah, let's play this. I don't have any spells to save spell mana for, so it's probably wrong.
Her light will always rise.
You have a 1/2.
I'm always up for a round or two.
Maybe it's wrong to play this out aggressively while they have a Heimerdinger here.
I'm a people person.
I do have 4 more points of reach here. And these are kind of more reach, because these kegs can make Doombeast deal more. Pretty sure we're just smacking them this turn. Twisted Fate's not leveling anyways. I'm just gonna get in there. We have to throw a dork away, but they're pretty close to dead at this point. And like, remember, our next go hard is a pack your bag. So, hey, Insanity, good evening. So you're going to 4 here. Hey, just remember, like, if you want to point out something that I did that was a mistake, that's welcome. Just explain why. Same goes for my opponents as well. Like, any respect or courtesy that I expect you to give me, I expect you to give to my opponents as well, or I'm gonna time you out for not giving it to them, just like I'll time you out for not giving it to me. John Davik and Jakota, thank you for the follows. Jakota was a little bit ago. Hope you're still here. Thanks for hanging out tonight.
Vi
Stands for violence. So we're just gold carding, right? 100%.
Deal me in.
Just trying to buy some time here. And this is lethal, assuming they don't have Star Shaping or Guiding Touch, which are both cards that they play, so those could happen. Exercise Book, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Hoaglandia. Good evening, folks. Thanks for dropping in for some evening Runeterra here tonight. If you're new to the channel, I stream full-time here on Twitch. Runeterra is the primary game that I play. Do some variety stuff as well, but about half of my content's Runeterra. I'd previously been doing a lot of morning time streaming. Venturing out to do some Runeterra in the evenings as well, though.
A sturdy construction.
Alright, I mean, they're technically dead to this, right? I would have had to overwrite one of my units in order to do that, though. So, like, you're right, I could have gotten another point with that, but, like, that extra point didn't let us beat any of their healing cards, so I'm not sure that it was worth overwriting one of my bench units to do that. So, like, if that extra point was, like, enough, for example, to beat one of their things, I think that would be worthwhile. But because it wasn't, I think it's fine.
All hands on deck!
That is noteworthy. They didn't Mystic Shot the Zap, which would imply that they have another answer to it. Come on, can we just top deck a pack your bags, please? Please, ma'am, may I have a pack your bags?
It's smaller than the diagram.
That's what she said?
Their demise.
It's smaller than the diagram.
You got legs. Use them.
You picked the losing side!
This is still infinite away from leveling, right? Yeah, we just did it. Thank goodness.
Through the coral.
I mean, I think the opponent just knows they're on a clock. I think the hush was telegraphed from earlier. And now, it's definitely worth playing out the deckhand before we do this, because playing out the powder keg first means that this gets to beat Star Shaping. So now they have to have another way to heal here. They need a second Guiding Touch, which they could have, but if they don't, we've got them dead to these two here.
Them good.
Even if they're not, even if they have the Guiding Touch, this still wipes their board, so we're in a pretty okay spot. Survey says they could have a way to kill this as well. Okay, yeah, but this still puts them to 1 and kills their board, right? So feeling okay. So didn't win the game, but puts us into a very manageable position. Rylar, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Hopelandia.
I'm doing this my way.
This one's a lot less exciting, Chad.
Firsthand. Trouble coming at ya.
All right, dead to get excited. Oh! Oh my gosh! I should have hit my own thing to not be dead to get excited. Ah! I saw it after. I should have used Go Hard on my tutu to play around Get Excited, and then we could have... Well, I guess it's tough, right? Because if we do that, we get a redraw, but we don't kill them on opens. Sleepy, thanks for the follow. It's a close game. It's a fun game, right? Real close down to the end there. Some good back and forth. Perhaps not taking the more aggressive line with the Keg and the Doom Beast earlier was wrong. They did end on 1. So the mix of healing that they had could have made that matter. So many permutations in that game of different things we could have gone through. Alright, so this is almost assuredly a mirror match here. I could have done it pre-combat, Jota. Before they attacked with Vi and put me to 3. This is probably fine in the mirror. Getting this going ASAP seems to have a mulligan this because it dies to their go-hards. X1 seem not great here.
How bad for I've done.
Player agency in my card game? How am I supposed to blame my losses on variance if I could have played better? This is awful, chat. Where's the mana screw?
The dead don't need riches.
I can always blame the top decks. Honestly, that's one of the things I love the most about kind of the priority system in this game too, right? Is the fact that both players draw a card every single turn means that your games come down to top decks so much less often because, you know, both players just have more gas in the tank consistently. It's going good, Shadid.
Hush now.
Tradesies? I want to open attacks here so they can't, like, play a 3-1 out. Yes! Our opponent is a Oglandian sub, and they said they were popping out of the chat because they saw they queued into us, so I'm sure they'll be back and would be happy to talk about their deck after we're done here. That's rude. I'd like to murder your frog. Am I killing my spider to draw a card? Probably. Are we about to get, like, triple go-hearted? I feel like I'm about to get triple go-hearted, chat.
You pay, I got the spirits.
So young.
Poor little spooter. Never had a chance.
If I kill you, I don't fortune, stupid.
Probably gonna see a zap here to try and redraw. Really? Okay.
This is outrage.
How do we feel about Chronicler Reset Elise? I think I'm into it. Give it to it. I don't have a zap in sight.
Like a fish in water.
They did have zap and didn't open on it. It depends on what their goal is for the frog. So, like, they've definitely been super defensive with the frog, but I'd also be up a lot of points of damage this game if my opponent hadn't played the frogs the way they are.
Go with the flow.
So it's tough to know exactly how right or wrong our opponent is playing with their cards without having all the information that they have available to them available to us. So they've played 2 go hard so far.
Never lost a fair game. Or played one. Hold it, partner.
Let's do this.
Definitely want to be aggressive here. Trading off here. Trading off is good for us, I think, in the event that they tell us to pack our bag soon.
Try again.
Draw some cards here. Oh, I think our archetype is very capable of producing aggressive draws. I think there's a good chance my opponent would be well into the single digits by now if they hadn't played their frogs out defensively like they did.
A game. Go on then.
Watch the ball, folks.
Just gonna go ahead and kill this, I think. I don't want to commit more to the board because of pack your bags, like I said.
from the darkness.
Elise is nice here for allowing us to continue to add pressure to the board without really playing into pack your bags too much.
Packed 'em good.
This threatening to level Elise could make them play their card, which I think would be good for us. If they have it, I suppose. There's no guarantee that they have it, but if they do, this is probably incentive to jam it.
I'm always up for a round or two.
To be fair, Slim Wenzy, if you picked up Runeterra now, by the time there was a decent card pool, you'd be familiar with most of it. The Runeterra card pool is an okay size right now, but it's definitely going to get fleshed out a bit more. Hamblin, thank you for the 17 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I think I was going to ruinate. I'm burning 4 mana here, but okay, I think I want to just
It will
ruinate.
all be over soon.
Elise does, in fact, hum Itsy Bitsy Spider, and it's great. Hello. You may have one drink and then put it back. I need it while I'm working.
Deal me in.
Third
Who
Twisted
has the
Fate,
serpent?
pretty good.
I pull the strings.
Chronicler, I believe, is primarily there to blink zap. It occasionally gives us extra powder kegs as well. I'm not sold on Chronicler. For people that are new to the channel, this deck and a lot of the decks that we play are viewer submissions. So a lot of times I have people sending me in their deck list to play. So this is card for card, something someone sent me to play. I don't even think that's an argument, Quaddle. I think that's just objectively true. I agree with that. I think if you went and counted Runeterra's current constructed format, definitely has more playable cards than Standard's constructed format. I think in comparison to things like Modern, Legacy, and Pioneer, though, it's probably not quite on par yet. But I think we'll get there before long. Yeah, the fact that our opponent got to pack your bags early this game has definitely dictated the pacing of this game a ton. It definitely felt like we were at a pretty extreme disadvantage here because they found their copies of that early and we did not. I think I've only played one copy so far.
There's plenty of killing there. You pay, I got the spirits. These are my rules. Neither the flames nor the depths could claim me.
The format's basically unrecognizable, Cooley Ranks, if you used to play it. Magic's cesspool of cards from 2019 took over that format, just like they've taken over everything else. Someone asked earlier why we're playing Vengeance and not Crumble, and this is why.
Cowards!
How big of a name was I in the Magic community? At various points over the years I spent streaming Magic, I was at any point a top 1 to top 10 Magic streamer,
There's nothing
depending on
to fear.
what metrics you were measuring. When I stopped streaming Magic in September, I was the most subscribed to person streaming Magic consistently on Twitch.
Something special.
In terms of viewer count, I was usually top 3 to top 5. Sure. Deal. Okay, what if we measure on skill? Bottom 100. Can we measure lower than bottom?
I need more hands.
Thankfully it's only 15% skill. When it comes to concentrated power of will, I'm way up there though, so I've got what it counts to be. I've got the metrics where it matters, chat.
We playing bilge rules, son?
He's 2 cards away from leveling up. That's terrifying. My thoughts between Elise and GP in this deck. Haven't played enough games to have an educated or informed opinion.
Trouble.
Oh, more interesting.
If I kill you, I don't hurt you, stupid.
Stupid.
Looks like I'm on a hot streak.
Your specific card shuffling. That's quite the way to put that. How is your specific card shuffling?
Like a fish in water.
think we're dead so, Jap.
Blue as the serpentine.
I have to say so far that I'm really not impressed with this deck. I feel like I greatly prefer the Ezreal Go Hard deck that we've been playing. Chronicler's not been amazing, but this deck in general also has just like not felt particularly exciting. I mean, the Lee Sin decks that were previously good are still competitive. Opponent targeted the wrong thing with that. Yeah, that feels like the issue, Jota. Not having... Oh, do they just have 3 Go-Hards? That's funny. They GG'd, so they might. Not having a copy of, what's it called? Not Get Excited, Progress Day. Like, not having a Progress Day to, like, draw into and to, like, gas back up with feels real mediocre. Yeah, it feels like by the time... Sure, we could technically play pick a card, I guess. It's not quite the same, though, Landon. Pick a card dictating the timing of when you play your cards really sucks. Hey, good games, Dark. Yeah, the fact that you hit your bags first really slowed me down and kind of hamstrung how quickly I was able to play out. King Knock, thank you for the 16 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Ha! Yeah, we're gonna keep all 4 of these, huh? Let's play an aggro deck. Let's do it. This is good. This is probably gonna be a game where we play this out as just a naked 2-3. I mean, honestly, so far playing this deck, that feels like the key to most of our games. Just like, do we get to tell them to pack their bags quickly?
The sun rock got me good.
Yeah, that Violent Journey. So far, I feel like the good thing our deck is doing is pack your bags, and the rest of it isn't that noteworthy.
If I kill you, I don't
And like when we don't have the pack your bags going on, we also don't have quite enough draw to get back to it consistently, it doesn't feel like. Like, this is definitely a much worse Twisted Fate deck than Diana Twisted Fate is, because you can't protect Twisted Fate, you don't have Bastion, and you don't have a bunch of instant speed, fast speed cards to trigger him inside of combat.
Where are you, spirit?
I didn't do nothing!
The sun's out, the crowd's ready. Let's reckon! And the yikes!
Yeah, Gangplank gives you an extra bomb to draw to at least, I guess. It's just there's plenty of boards where, like, Gangplank isn't good enough to attack through. So I'm skeptical of... I'm skeptical of that being truly a solution to what we have going on. Well, that's unfortunate. As we talk about.
I pull the strings.
I don't know, the vengeances have been really good so far.
The hunt's as big as his bicep. Vaccine!
I've definitely liked Vengeance versus Crumble so far. Maybe if we play against Rocket Kench, we'll feel differently, but the instant speed on this has felt really important a couple of times. For example, in our game wouldn't have been nearly as close as it was if this had been Crumble. Because we would have just died to your thing. Sure, but I mean, like, even here, this grasp looks really important, right? Like, being +3 life here is huge. I'm gonna salvage here, and then plan to Ruinate next turn, because we can then Vengeance into whatever they want to open on the following turn.
What's the worst that could happen? What's science without a little risk?
Yeah, like, Lidros Dreadway sounds sweet. Have some way to actually close the game out. 3 GP. 3 GP is a lot.
Jinx stands for Jinx.
Durr. Don't play, like, 2 more things out. Just pass back to yourself. And the turn. And the turn, opponent. I believe in you. So jury rig to level her? Get excited to level her. Yikes. Treble. Thank you for the 11 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Good evening. Okay, so if they can empty their hand on their first play here, we're probably dead. Well, I guess I could gain some life.
Screaming helps not at all.
Screaming helps not at all. Can you make a missile? You cannot. Don't play another Jinx. Don't do it. Have a heart. Don't play another Jinx. Whew. Okay. Sometimes lucky.
Never lost a fair game. Or played one.
More played. I feel like Mystic Shot killing my cantrip while I'm at 6 is a huge win for us. I feel like our opponent's probably supposed to use our life total as a bit of a resource here. Feels like that's maybe a little bit too defensive on their part. Misassessing their role, perhaps.
We playing bilge rules, son?
Build rules, son. Is Jinx still like? It is not. This is Legend of Runeterra, not Magic Arena. It was fixed in less than a week. Jinx was hot fixed. They bugged it Wednesday. They fixed it Monday.
strength. I don't change fate, but I can see it.
But I can see it.
Jinx stands for Jinx.
Remember that time I said they were too defensive with their Mystic Shot, chat? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Good evening, Anner. Hope life's treating you alright. Easy. Easy Doom Beast. Gain some life back here. And then we have them dead to open attacks.
All hands on deck!
I've been, you know, state of the world aside, I've been really swell.
Let's see what's out there.
My own personal bubble is doing A-okay. Yeah, Chrissy's been playing a bunch of Diablo with the new season drop. Yeah, so, I mean, I feel like that game was a good example, and this is why we often talk about how it's important to not just focus on whatever our record is with the particular deck, because, like, we won that game, but if my opponent assesses their role more correctly, I think we lose there. Like, they should hold that Mystic Shot until they see what a couple more of their draws were. They were at 20 life. And, like, if they wait to see that Jinx, they end up killing us with the Rocket and the Mystic Shot. That's how this goes. I gotta imagine this is okay for us, right? They're super unit based. They have a few things that die to go hard. I'm gonna look in the Vengeance. I think this card's fine in this matchup, but it's a little bit slow. I want to draw it off the top later, not start with it. It's a great pickup as well. Friend. And this is perfect. We're attacking on evens here. One of those many times where we're happy to be going second. So we get to play Elise out here and then attack with her right away, which is great.
We could use a bite.
Thanks, Anner. Yeah, she's just started crawling all over the place now. So can no longer walk out of the room for a minute and leave her alone. Gotta be in the pack and play or bring her with. What's the new clock overlay? So the clock now lets you bank time as you go longer into the game. So if you make quick plays earlier on, you get to save that time up, basically. A block here and then glimpse this, I think. So those trade where they're left with misfortune.
You dare!
So we still take one from this, but then this was blocked, so we don't take it from it. Yeah, so you can store up a time bank basically, so you can take a longer. Yeah, it was added in the patch today. There was a patch note that went up this afternoon talking about it. If you want full thoughts on the patch notes, it's there's a video on my YouTube channel talking about it from this afternoon. Yeah, I'm just gonna kill this now. Just get rid of her before we get into trouble. Well, oop. Resolve was gonna get us at some point regardless. Gives her tip, so she takes one less damage there. Hoping to find a go hard next turn.
Slow down, will you?
Store the rations! Shackle the prisoners!
I suppose.
So neither of these can block this, unfortunately, because even though this is a 3-1, these both only have 1 toughness. so they'll get killed by Misfortune's trigger. I didn't look to see if the collection stuff was turned on. I should look for that. Vengeance looking really slow and clunky here.
Satisfaction, hardly fair. Harry, riposte. You are aha. Time to get rowdy.
Yeah, so they do this. They can attack with Misfortune too.
Love ya.
So one of the things Runeterra does too, there's a chance that the timers aren't fully implemented yet, and there's just some graphical changes from there's just some graphical changes that have happened already because Runeterra deploys their client update and then turns it on in the back end on a later date. And I assume part of that is because it makes their mobile deployments easier. Really need to go hard here. Oh, gosh. Looks like we're pretty dead.
I don't bite.
Strength and grace, beauty in the blade. I'll blow up the pieces.
Yeah, we're just dead here. Their Misfortunes will level up on their next attack. Joy Rock, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Oblandia.
Queen.
Yeah, definitely Windowhead. Out of Transistor, Bastion, and Hades, Transistor's definitely the best of the three. For me personally, at least. The way the character building worked, I found most satisfying. The story was also really good as well, and the music was excellent. Like all Supergiant games have excellent soundtracks, but the way the character building worked in Transistor, really enjoyed that the most out of all of them. Yeah, the way the combinations of skills work together is really sweet. Someone had a really good comparison in chat when we were talking about it, that like if you're comparing Hades to Transistor using card game analogies, Transistor would be constructed and Hades would be limited. So like in Hades you're basically drafting a new deck each run, whereas with Transistor you're iterating on, improving, tuning, and tweaking whatever build you're playing. Superliminal is, yeah, it's funny. Declan just refers to Superliminal as the weird game. He loaded up the Switch that I usually have in my office to play something else, and he goes, "Oh, that's the weird game, Dad. Can I play the weird game?" Dissonant Turmoil. What an apt username for 2020. Thanks for the entire year of support. Let's get you started to go with that shield. Thanks for keeping me around. Oh no! Well, we'll see how many viewers we lose from that. Not the first time. Not the first time I've done that, and probably won't be the last. You know, it's late. I have small children. I wake up early and don't sleep a lot. For people that are wondering what just happened, I accidentally typed /host Dissonant Turmoil instead of /mod Dissonant Turmoil. So some people's streams probably just changed over to showing them as offline real quick. Sad to see no balance changes for Go Hard. I really don't. I think any balance changes to Go Hard would be super premature at the moment. This is my first experience playing with this deck that we're currently playing, but it's been super underwhelming, and playing against it has just been okay.
What will you have?
Yeah, it could be something I could see them changing because of play pattern purposes, because it is kind of, it could definitely be kind of polarized, I think. Yeah, I think that makes sense too, Quaddle. They're moving to end the round. I'm Twisted Fate and gold card to kill this, I think.
Or played one.
I think I prefer the go Ezreal deck, Claire. So far, this deck, and we're going to play, so there's actually a second build of this in the Q2, and there's a few different builds, and I'm certain that the build we're currently playing is far from optimal. Who knows what the optimal build is. But so far, my experience with this deck feels like it's a worse Go Hard deck than Go Ezreal, and it's a worse Twisted Fate deck than Twisted Diana. Just Salvage as the only card I have to, like, gas back up with really doesn't feel great. Do I play this? If I play this, I waste the spell mana. It's probably still right though. They're an Avalanche deck. I'll play Elise to start and see what they do. That was exactly what I was going to say, Live Devil. I think that was literally, I almost had those words fall out of my mouth. Completely agree. I think you could make Pack Your Bags cost 5 and it would still be playable.
Like a fish in water.
Completely agree. Ooh, that's a neat, that would be and that's why this game's so great. There's so many different knobs they could turn. You could have Pack Your Bags deal damage equal to the number of Go Hards you've cast. So like the first Pack Your Bags does 3 to everything, and then the next one does 6 and then 9. I kind of like that idea. That would make it feel very epic.
I bring the storm.
Just run while you can.
I think that's a really sweet design idea.
You dare.
Okay, gonna go hard, please. Thank you. To cook this egg sunny side up. If they have a avalanche here, they're gonna get to kill these, but then I don't have to play this, so like, you know, glass half full. I don't know. Every time Riot's done a balanced patch in this game so far, I feel like they've just proven to me time and time again that they know what they're doing, so I'm really not worried about it. I feel like if they watch it and determine there's an issue, it'll be addressed appropriately with one of the 100 different solutions they can implement. One of their Vile Feast here. Yeah, alright. So I'm gonna salvage in response so we can find a glimpse. Am I salvaging again to try and find a glimpse? I think I am, actually. They are a big joke. I wish they would have made them craftable to start, but they will 100% be craftable after the event.
We burn, then kindle anew. There's plenty of killing left.
Yeah, you actually can't craft them right now, but you will be able to once the event ends. It's not bad. My little mishost fire that my little mishost there only cost us 50 viewers. Oh, misclicks.
Keep up, keep up.
I'm supposed to do this too here. Deny them the ability to attack with this. Should just put both in the stack probably. Now they're gonna get an attack trigger. Please do something so I can respond. So this one won't quite be a pack the bags yet.
Rest in ice.
So they've had 2 birds die now.
This'll take the chill off.
We're definitely the beatdown in this matchup because of their combo finish top end, so life gain makes it tough to get through. Have you seen Vault Anivia on the ladder at all? No, not really, Mike. I think Anivia with Vault is just much worse than this Harrowing Anivia deck. Like, they're both kind of trying to do the same thing, and this deck just does it better. Yep.
Can see the Demacian border from here.
Come to the light.
What's that you got there?
Like, killing this isn't even that good. It, like, gives them another Anivia when they're Harrowing. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't eventually add all the cards from League of Legends.
Deal me in.
Okay, this notably means we're not getting Harrowinged or Ruinated this turn, which is really good for us. Yeah, I don't know. So, like, this is a tempo mid-range deck with aggro draws and a combo finisher and sub-control elements. So, how I would describe what you just said to me as, this deck doesn't feel like it has an identity, and it feels like it's all over the place. It doesn't feel like it knows what it wants to be doing. It feels like it's doing a lot of stuff, and it's not particularly good at any of it. Because I kind of, like, your description, generally, I would be like, that's such a stupid description, but it feels accurate playing the deck, and it feels like, if that description is accurate, I think describing the deck as disjointed is a good description. Please be dead. They are notably not dead if they have a Vile Feast.
Light the signal fire.
So if they have Vile Feast, they Vile Feast this, go to 5, then they have a blocker for one of these, then we die to a Harrowing on the backswing. Yeah.
like trouble.
I mean, the beauty of Runeterra is that, like, this deck is also just a collection of playable cards. So, like, if you like it and you play well, you can win with almost everything in this game. That's one of the big appealing factors to Runeterra. Thanks for the over 2 years, worst neighbor. I really appreciate it. Welcome back. Harrowing me, daddy. Please be Ruination. Please be Ruination. Please be Ruination. ARD, we know. Thank you for the follow. Well, they're only getting 2 Anivias. Am I still dead? I'm probably still dead, right?
This is our time.
That's entirely accurate, Lucas. We're actually talking about it earlier. Even though Runeterra's current card pool has, like, a lot fewer cards than, say, Magic's current standard card pool, I think Runeterra actually has more playable cards. Alright, one is not none. Oh, I have to glimpse in response. Fuck. Probably doesn't matter, but yeah, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. I don't think we have draws that get us out of it anyways, but we'll take them and see.
So young.
Never lost a fair game, or played one. I'm a people person.
So, Doom Beast is lethal?
Broke if you work, burn if you don't!
Alright, I mean, if their hand is just a bunch of units, they're dead.
Can see the Nebastian border from here.
All or nothing.
Ready the torches.
I protect this place.
If I would have sequenced my glimpse properly, I could have played this turn as well, which could have resulted in us winning here, potentially. Not if they have Vile Feast, not if they have Whale. Okay, so Whale, so it didn't matter because they have Whale. Yeah, I ought to be, let's play this one for almost 90 minutes anyways. So like I mentioned at a couple of points in the video set, I have a second variation of this deck in the queue. I'm interested to try it out, see what the Gangplank build looks like, and if that small difference there and some of the other cards feel like they move the needle meaningfully. I will say that Chronicler of Ruin was super underwhelming, and in general, this deck just felt incredibly disjointed though. It feels like it's doing a lot of different things, and it's not being particularly good at any of them. As far as like being a go hard deck goes, I really missed the card advantage and selection that the Go Ezreal deck has, not having like a big draw 3 like Progress Day or consistent filtering like Rummage, and not even playing a full 3 copies of Glimpse. I like just Salvage and Zap did not feel like enough to keep the cards flowing. And like this bottom end really feels like a mix of things that are like kind of being aggressive, but my deck's also a little bit more on the controlling side. So then like I'm playing this control deck where I like have to draw 2 mana 2/2s and 1 mana 2/2s in the late game. So overall, not particularly impressed with this specific build, but I'm interested to see what the other build feels like when we get there. Let's smork some people.